Heard a lot about this show, the ex-candidates.
This has been a pretty thorough interview.
These institutions which we've been told to respect and trust are actually completely untrustworthy.
Have you confirmed that you are negative before attending tonight if you are unvaccinated?
I still see people with masks on and driving, and they're in the car by themselves.
So you can pay my electricity bill, you thieving little spiff.
We're teaching them about what it means to be a pansexual instead of teaching them how to do your taxes.
It's no for me. I say no to the voice.
Everyone, welcome back to another episode of the ExCandidates. My name is Stephen Tripp, joined by Adam Zara. How are you tonight, Adam?
I'm pretty good, thanks, Stephen. How are you going?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Adam.
That's very good. So welcome to our listeners and viewers. And just want to say tune into Rumble, follow us on Spotify and all those places. It's good to work the hours away by listening to Stephen and I talk to our very special guests.
Yeah, we have a lot of good guests on, yeah, so please, and also comment as well. We'd like to hear your comments. And that's a big reason why we're doing tonight's episode, because we had one of our Instagram followers, Gary, who asked us to please do something in regards to the recent Ben Roberts-Smith case. Adam and I are not military men, so we're not experts about this sort of thing, but we thought we'd reach out to one of our experts, former Lieutenant Colonel of the Australian Defence Forces, Alistair Pope. We've had him on a previous episode. We actually had him on two previous episodes as a two-parter, episode 34, in which we discussed his background and some of Australia's military capabilities. So if you want to go back and hear more about Alistair, go listen to that episode. And also episode 35, which we discussed what would happen if Australia was invaded and whether or not we're ready for that, or even capable of repelling, an attack from a foreign force. But tonight we're going to just dive straight into this issue of Ben Roberts-Smith. First, Alistair, how are you going tonight?
Good.
You're in the middle of monsoon at the moment in Vietnam.
Yes,
right?
I am.
Yeah.
So we get guests from everywhere.
All right. Okay. You want me to just tell you a few things, or?
Yeah, well, if you're ready to jump in, just jump right into it.
Well, one of the things I sent you was a list of statistics for 14 wars that Australia's been involved in, and it showed, in rough terms, we've had 1.5 million people serve in war zones, and not one of them has come up so far until we got to Afghanistan with any war crimes. Now, what are the statistical chances of that we had no war crimes committed in the Maori Wars, the Sudan, the Boxer Rebellion? Of course, Breaker Morant is the famous one, which is brought up all the time. It actually spoiled a very good friendship of mine when I did not support the exoneration of Breaker Morant. He was, in fact, a war criminal. But he was actually serving with the Bushveld Carabineers, which was actually a British unit, an irregular unit. And he was tried by a British court and executed by a British court for killing 9 prisoners, one of whom was a minister who had him dig his own grave, then shot him in the head. So one day he didn't ask him to fill the grave in after him. Anyway, so he's the only one we've ever had convicted of a war crime. And you go right through the whole lot, and suddenly you come up with Afghanistan, where we're told there are 39 war criminals or 39 crimes, and maybe up to 54 people have been illegally killed after being taken prisoner. Now, statistically, we've either had the most honourable army that's ever existed in history, or there's a lot more war crimes to be found and dealt with. In my last command, which is a long time ago, and I had 8 Aboriginal soldiers. These were real Aboriginal soldiers. And when we're out in the bush, I used to say to them, I'd join the army. And all of them said, without exception, I joined to get away from the tribe. Because I can't get on. If I've got $10, 10 people will turn up saying, give me $1 each.
Yeah.
And you just get trapped into this this lifestyle. So he said, join. Now, Aboriginal.
It's funny you say that because one of the guests that we had on last week was Dr. Gary Johns, and he wrote a book called The Burden of Culture, where he spoke about that. Yeah, similar concepts.
There are many other things actually I wanted to mention there about the biological, nuclear, unrestricted warfare. There's a book actually written by 2 Chinese colonels about how China will fight unrestricted warfare. It will abrogate every treaty of civilization and use biological, chemical, every weapon it can possibly find to win. They actually don't understand what winning is, because there are necessary wars, but these people want to go to war because they can, as Germany did in 1939. They had now built an army, and they weren't going to stop until someone stopped them. And of course, that devastated the world. The Japanese were the same with their militaristic, and now you've got China has developed the same mindset. Russia hasn't actually developed that mindset. The Cold War sort of set them back on their heels a lot, and their economy basically collapsed, which is why Gorbachev said, we've got to open up. We can't keep going like this. We can produce guns or butter, but not both. So we need to actually open up. And of course, that ended up causing the collapse of the USSR, which Putin has now rated as the worst disaster in Russian history. And he's been trying with these wars in Georgia and now Ukraine and against Chechnya to try and sort of reform the Russian Empire. And of course, he's got Belarus has been very much a supporter of Russia, got a very pro-Russian prime minister. But I notice the reports here I've read in various blogs that he's going to withdraw his troops from the Ukrainian. What he's doing is just basically protecting the northern border of Russia. So, in fact, he's basically said, we're not going to take part and we might turn on you. And now, of course, you've got these rebels who have captured Belgorod and other places there. You've now got a mini revolution going on. It won't extend beyond that unless it becomes far more widespread. But I would think the mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters of the 100,000 Russians dead might start to question the purpose of what these people are doing. You know you have a purpose if you're fighting for Ukraine, but what's your purpose if you're just a professional soldier? That's fine. But 50% of the people being sent to Ukraine are conscripts who never expected to find themselves at war.
Yeah.
Especially when they're similar people as well. Russia kind of grew out of the Ukraine originally, so it's not like it's not like they're fighting a foreign foe.
No. That's a bit of history very few people know. That Ukraine actually stretched all the way up to Lithuania at one stage.
Wow.
Stephen, you're a genius. I didn't know that people knew that.
I know a little bit.
I thought Adam and I were the only ones.
No, not me. I had no idea. No, that's Stephen. Steven's the man.
Okay, Alistair, please list off everywhere that people can find you, and we'll wrap things up.
Okay. Right. Thanks, Stephen.
All right. Thanks, Alistair. Thank you very much for coming on. Thank you, Adam, and thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you next time.
Okay.